Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. I hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far, and things are kicking off with regard to gentlemen's agreements in the competitive scene. Crimsix's tourney last night had gentlemen's agreements in play, some players seemingly still using auto tac spin, which is technically GA'd by the professional players. Doug sent Martin on a rampage to challenge the status quo. Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button. It's the best thing you can do to help this channel reach more people, and please consider subscribing as well if you have not yet already. Firstly, we looked at this yesterday. Walls just don't exist on Bacage. That's how we're going to go with the pronunciation. And well, here we go from Crone. It's actually being looked into by Sledgehammer Games, maybe. So on their Trello thing, they have this set up. And well, a few hours ago, it was noted that it's in multiplayer known issues, bullet penetration issues on Bacage. So that's how things seem to be going right now. Pretty cool. They're going to fix this up, hopefully, relatively soon. At least they're investigating it. I guess that they can make some small adjustments, I suppose, in the next patch update to make sure you can't shoot straight through this wall all the way across the map with an SMG without even FMJ on it, which is kind of classic stuff for Vanguard at the present time. This is also from Zero. I thought was a kind of crazy spawn. This is Zero on Gavutu, or whatever it's meant to be pronounced as. I don't really know that one. I mean, look at this spawn right here. This is kind of difficult to predict. We've got number one over here, like all the red guys are here. You'd imagine if someone's going to spawn out in this situation, or like if one blue player has to spawn with the three players here, you'd think it makes way more sense for this number one player to spawn back here, right? Because red kind of have control of this side of the map, but they've decided no, not going to happen. And the problem is with squad spawns that 1 and 3 or 2 and 3 both die here, or like 4 and 3 both die. And because you're thinking one's going to be over here, you're thinking these guys are going to spawn over here, but no, of course, number 3 spawns right on player number 1, right? You can see at the end there. Literally spawn right on him with the squad spawn stuff, and they probably got flanked in there. Well, unlucky boys, you lose that rotation. This also from Priestahh, they got to make silent plant and diffuser with these maps. You can hear everything on every single map. That's one of the issues, right? Like, this is kind of what I thought would happen. They fixed the bomb glitch, which they did, but the problem is there's a couple of other issues with the game as well, right? When the bomb is dropped and then someone comes and picks it up, then you get the announcer saying that, okay, yeah, they're moving the bomb towards a bomb site or whatever they say. And then also, like, when you actually plant the thing or defuse the thing, you, like, crank that lever and, you know, like Soldier Boy, and therefore, like, you know, they can just hear you, right? So that's just how it goes right now. You can hear the bomb getting planted, diffuse them everywhere. It's kind of a frustrating thing, quite frankly, that the defense is allowed to do this, but at least when the offense, well, gets the bomb down now, there's not that very easy situation where you can just see when the bomb's getting diffused. At least that is fixed, but still not ideal, right? So there has been some call for silent plants, because this used to be an option, frankly, in the game. You could just select silent plant or diffuse, and you know, whenever you had that option enabled, you know, the defense or the offense wouldn't be able to hear anything when the player was actually diffusing it, which I think, frankly, is probably better than getting a free sound cue, especially from so deep. Like, you know, it's not really great when, like, the meta is just to turn your headset up all the way and make sure you can hear when they're diffusing the bomb or whatever. Probably not the best for competitive integrity, quite frankly. So maybe that's an option they could add into the game if they're considering it. But that's the thing with a new COD every year, right? Some of these features which you think are great just slip through the cracks in future seasons. And well, this is what Standy has to say on a couple of these issues. If you guys ever see a tweet from Standy that you think might be a little bit on the questionable line, make sure you hit the screenshot on it, because he loves deleting everything. But anyway, when can we get 100k, 11 CDL, plus top 5 AM team tournament? Now, I don't know when this is going to happen, if not ever, like if the CDL is actually going to go down this route. Now, theoretically, an organization could actually run a tourney like this. The problem is, I don't think the CDL allows these organizations to run tourneys with the entire CDL teams kind of named as the CDL franchises are, because that's kind of like the CDL's property or whatever. That's why they do these like 2-2 teams and like the Warzone pros that we talked about last night. But yeah, I thought this would be kind of cool, really, as Standy says. And also, as Mack points out to me, I'm pretty sure he did some other tweets talking about some of the issues within the game, like buildings, corners, impossible to have consistent play. And look, I just do wonder if Standy's like tweeted this and said, okay, you know, should I really have this out there? Just because the CDL, we know that, you know, they're not too happy generally when pro players like talk trash about their game, right? There's some sort of contract going on there that means that fines can come through. They have done certainly during the season. Even last season, Scump got fined for playing like Raid Shadow Legends as a sponsored stream during the off season, which is just outrageous, frankly. But you know, if the pro players say something as a result of the game, then they might get a fine. And we've talked about that the last couple of days. Maybe Standy was thinking, okay, maybe I'll just delete this one to make sure it doesn't happen. But it's still some frustrations. It's still very clear with the Vanguard right now, especially this also. Like we looked earlier today about what Valorant are doing with their crowdfunding as well for the World Championship. But as Octane says in reply to Jake right here, you know, Halo crowdfunding is next level. They're doing it for every single big event next year. They're doing crowdfunding for. It's got a cap for regular events with, I guess, all the rest of the cash going into the World Championship. So the biggest prize pool Halo's ever seen. Like, it could well blow Call of Duty out the water, quite frankly. Like, it's just one of these things that you think, wow, why can't we get on board with that one? And Octane's like, you know, is this it? This is what we need to do. Now, this is what Slasher has to say yesterday yesterday then. So Crimsix's tournament goes down. He finishes like 5th, 6th or wherever. Had a lot more fun than previous ones because there was decent rules. But laws at these maps are going to stress me out all year. So Crim came through and said, okay, we're going to have decent rules in this one. We're going to play with GAs. Like, we're going to do stuff right and have a proper tourney. And that's why people generally enjoyed their time on Vanguard last night, which has been somewhat few and far between so far for a load of these pro players. Of course, these were some of the squads we looked at earlier today. A load of pro players in here, but of course a load of players that aren't actually competing for next season. Now, auto tac sprint has been a massive discussion through the entirety of the off-season, frankly. Some players saying we should use it, some players saying we should turn it off, and definitely a bit of a back and forth on that issue. Generally, players with better movement say that we should get rid of it, therefore like they can leverage their better movement without having to just, pull the left stick down or, push the left stick forward, and then they just sprint off into the distance, right? And that's kind of where players with worse movement generally prefer to have it in the game, therefore like, they don't, the skill gap is reduced to some degree in that sense. That's why a lot of pros think it should be gone, but at the same time, if you're an amateur player, I think you don't have all the money in the world to buy new controllers every other week, and obviously it's not great for the longevity and the lifespan of your controller if you're spamming the left stick the whole time. So therefore, like, there's a lot of back and forth on this. I think in the pro scene, it's pretty much unanimous that it should go, even though some players aren't necessarily convinced, but in the amateur scene, that's where things get kind of interesting indeed. So, well, anyway, this is what TJ says yesterday in the amateur scene, but thought this Crim tourney was gentleman's agreement. I see a lot of auto tac sprints coming out, and Slasher says he's definitely not in favor of it. People love cheating, so he says, yeah, if you're using it, you're basically just cheating, right? You're using this setting that is banned and at least is gentleman's agreemented by the pro players and the amateur players in general that, you're not really allowed to use. So Drazah says, look, who's using it, right? Like, at these guys, literally everyone not competing. So, well, he reckons that pretty much everyone on this list who isn't like in the pro league, I guess, and that maybe even like some of the guys that are in the amateur side, but maybe some of these guys that aren't, Aiden and the likes of the Warzone players and stuff like this, like, are they using it? Are they not using it? A lot of people would say, yeah, maybe they're stacking it on. But maybe even a lot of these guys are using it, because this tweet comes out from Morks yesterday that I thought was hilarious, and he says, look, Doug Censor is literally fighting a war in the Challengers GA chat to keep using auto tactical sprints. So this is the setting which, you push down the left stick and it just makes you automatically tac sprint straight into the distance. And, well, Doug Censor has definitely been in favor of keeping this in play. Now, you can certainly look at this and say, look, Doug might not have the best movement in the game, therefore keeping this in the game is going to, advantage him more than it's going to advantage other players to some degree and reduce the skill gap in that sense. That might be one way to look at it. On the other way to look at it is to say, look, controller lifespan is an important thing. Health of your hands and stuff like this is an important thing. Even Crimsix was talking about, my thumb, my choice or whatever not too long ago. So that's the thing, right? Like, Morks comes out and says this, Doug's definitely fighting a war on multiple fronts, it seems. So he's definitely an entertaining character as of late. He's been doing a lot of stuff, but yeah, I'm pretty sure, like, Slash is saying, look, these guys, like Doug, are basically cheating in these tournaments by using it, but Doug's like, look, it shouldn't actually be banned. We should be able to use it. It's just one of these kind of settings in the game that you can turn on or off. It's not necessarily cheating, and a lot of guys, probably including Doug, certainly want to keep using it, right? So an interesting discussion, I'm sure, is going to continue to rage on here behind the scenes. There's also this that came out last night. I thought, well, last night a clip came out, pretty sure it was the night before, that there was this tourney going on with Methodz, TJ, Blast, and Slacked, and in the end, they end up making it back and beating Doug's team, but because Doug's team came third in that Boom TV 20k tournament, but actually they matched up earlier in the tournament as well, and Doug took down these guys. I believe that Methodz and TJ, or I'm not exactly sure how it went, but maybe Blast or Slacked, there was some guys that Doug was going to team with, but then they decided to sketch on him effectively and team with these guys instead. And then when Doug takes them down in this map of Search and Destroy, drops 10 eliminations, he's talking some trash. I believe they also didn't go on to win the hard points, and they did actually win the series and knock Methodz down to losers, but then they came back and beat them anywhere in the lowest finals, so I'm pretty sure later on in the tournament. But entertaining regardless. Doug's been killing it as of late with the content at least. I mean, shirtless Doug, he's unstoppable.
Stay down. Same spot. He could have dropped down towards bomb, but he's probably gonna come same spot. No, he's there. He's not weak. There. Nice. Good progress. Shitters, bro. Don't ego me, you shitters.
Oh my god. Duh.
Trash cans, bro.
I have no idea. I might not.
That's what you get for ego, you trash cans.
Oh, hold on. That's only the first map.
Oh, it's gonna get worse this map. It's gonna get worse this map, Justin. Believe me. Believe me, it's gonna get worse, bro. No, believe me, it's gonna get worse this next hard point. Watch. I'll make Zinni drop a point too, bro.
Just to finish off with a couple of things here. Firstly, this from Clayster. Who have you got as your top 3 all-time best competitive Call of Duty snipers? This is quite the question, actually. Like, top 3 all-time best snipers. Like, you've got to think about all the games. I think when you're considering many years, Formula's got to be right up there. I guess Simp deserves a mention as well, but I mean, he had Black Ops 4 and I guess Modern Warfare. But like, the fact of the matter is, I guess like, if you're thinking about Simp, you're probably thinking even way back to Black Ops 3 days and stuff like Search and Destroy Childs and stuff like this might be included. Nagafin I thought was a great shout as well, from Advanced Warfare into Black Ops 3. But like, how many snipers have there been that have dominated many years? Frankly, I think Slasher has a great point here with John. Like, John was really, really good in the jetpack era, like Black Ops 3, Infinite Warfare, and then was also nasty in World War II. So in terms of all time, John honestly has to be right up there in my opinion. But I think a lot of people would say in terms of most talented, Formal's got to be there, Simp's got to be there, Dashy's got to be close, frankly. Like, if snipers are in Cold War, I think probably he would just have enough to maybe tip him over the boundary here. But even like Dashy in World War II, Black Ops 4, like, he was great with the sniper in those games. So Infinite Warfare as well, I mean, he played one event right at the end, he got a couple of nice snipes in. But I don't really know, it's a difficult question for sure. I think I would probably have Formal and then John in my top 3, and I'm not exactly sure who the third would be, just because I kind of want to choose someone that's been at like, that's actually competed and sniped for like 3 years, but hasn't really been the case for a lot of these guys. Maybe I'd throw Simp in there, he's just too nasty not to, frankly. But this also from Crone, did Black Ops 2, Black Ops 3 and Black Ops 4 have the best overall competitive map sets or not? Like, Black Ops 4 I thought was pretty damn good, but the other games are just phenomenal, frankly. Like, Black Ops 3 had some great ones. I thought it just depends really with Black Ops 3 that it obviously worked great for jetpacks, but if some of those maps were to come back, like how would they make the variations? I think so many of these maps from Call of Duty history could work on boots on the ground if they make some alterations. Just don't have the doors, don't have the breakables, and maybe we're in a good spot, right? But it's kind of tough to say. And well, just to say this as well, another classic clip that finishes out the video on Bacage, as is tradition at this point, with some dodgy stuff going on. We've got well, Simp in this situation right here, he's trying to get some shots in, and then they switch over to a different POV. Simp's trying to look down the stairs, and Blast is right here with the sniper. And I'm pretty sure someone pointed this out to me the other day, that this wall, for whatever reason, you can just see right through it, at least where their name tag is. Like, he literally can just see the name tag of the guy through the wall, just shoots his head off, shoots his head straight off, and wall bangs him, right? And it's like, okay, why is that even possible? He didn't even know where the guy was, just gets the name tag straight through this solid concrete wall, and therefore can just shoot him in the head. That is realism, baby. Very much intriguing your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, hit in the like button, tells the YouTube gods this is a good video, and I was like, you should see it as well, and help grow the competitive Call of Duty community. Thank you as always, take care, and I will see you next time.